Today we're showing you how to install the Tusk 2500 and 3500 pound winches. These kits come with everything you need to install the winch except for the machine specific winch mount plate, unless you purchase the winch and mount plate together in a kit. RockyMountainATVMC.com offers these winches individually or in a convenient kit, which includes the winch and a machine specific winch mount plate, all the items needed to install the winch on your machine. Most machine-specific mount plates come with the roller fairlead mount, so if yours does, the universal fairlead mount included with the winch will not be needed. You'll also want to be sure to refer to the instructions that come with your machine-specific winch mount plate for further wiring and installation instructions, because every machine is different and the installation process will vary. This installation will be done on a 2013 Grizzly 550. On this machine, the installation process is fairly simple, and we were able to mount the winch mount plate and the roller fairlead, and then we were also able to mount the wires before installing this winch on the machine. Keep in mind that most machines will require connecting the wires after the winch is mounted on the machine. So the first step is to remove everything from the box and then assemble as much as we can on our workbench. That makes it easier for when we install it on the actual machine. So we're going to put the winch mount plate on the bottom of the winch, attach that and tighten those bolts down. Then we're going to install the roller fairlead on front. We do that with the provided hardware, so we're just going to tighten those bolts down. So our next step is going to be finding a location to mount our contactor. So we're looking for somewhere that's close to the battery, but we want a location that's also going to stay clean and dry. On some machines, places like under the seat or near the rear storage box work great, but you're going to have to look around and determine which location is going to work best for you. On this particular machine, we found it fit nicely on the back of the mount plate, so that's where we mounted it. So now we're going to put our rubber boots on each end of the wires and begin installing those wires. Notice how the posts on the contactor are color coded so we don't get confused when we're attaching the wires. So we're going to take that yellow wire and attach it to the yellow post on the contactor, and then we're going to run it down to the yellow motor terminal on the winch. And it's going to be the same thing for the blue wire. We're going to attach it to the blue post on the contactor and then run it down to the blue motor terminal on the winch. And we're going to follow that pattern for all four wires. So once we've got all four of those wires installed, we can focus our attention to the machine and start getting that ready for the winch. We're going to need to get to the battery, so on this machine the battery sits up front. We're going to need to remove the front rack, and we'll do that now. Once that rack's out of the way, we can remove that front battery cover, and that will reveal the battery. And now we're ready to install the winch. So we're going to set that up into place. And now's a great time to refer to the installation instructions that came with your winch mount plate for further installation tips. Once we get that into place, we're going to start bolting down the winch mount plate. So install that hardware. Then we're just going to tighten those down. And once we've got that secured, we're going to focus our attention to the mini rocker switch. You want to find a spot on your bars that is not in the way but easily accessible. We chose this location between the switch assembly and the master cylinder. So to install this thing, we're going to tighten the two clamps around the handlebar and tighten the pivot bolt on the switch. After we get that tightened down, we're going to run the wire down the handlebars. Then we're going to zip tie it and secure it to the handlebar so it makes a clean installation. In this case, we were able to use the stock clamp, and then we're also going to use a zip tie to secure the top part of the wire. We're going to continue to run that wire down to where the contactor is mounted so we can plug that in. In this case, we had to remove the handlebar clamp cover in order to gain access to run those wires. And once we've got those wires ran to where we need them, just going to go ahead and plug that into the wires coming out of the contactor. The next step is we need to splice the red wire coming from the mini rocker switch into a key on power. A key on power is any wire that has power only when the key is turned on. So the easiest way to find those is just using a test light. On this one, we're using the wires coming from the power outlet. If your machine doesn't have a power outlet, you're going to have to find another key on power. So once we found the right wire, we're just going to crimp the red connector, splicing that red wire into the key on power wire. The next step is just to connect the wires to the battery. So we're going to take the black wire, connect it to the negative side of the battery. Then we're going to take the red wire, connect it to the positive side of the battery. And that takes care of the installation up top. Now we go back down to the winch. We're going to cut the zip tie holding the cable. Get that out of the way. Pull the loop through the fair lead. Remember to disengage the clutch. So we're going to pull that through, get enough slack to work with. Then we're going to install the hook on the end of it. So put that pin through and use your cotter pin and bend that around the pin. We're also going to install the yellow strap that came with the winch. Now we're ready to make sure it works. Pull that hook up right to the fair lead. Make sure you don't pull it too tight. Looks like we did everything right, so now it's time to put the machine back together. So we're going to install the handlebar clamp cover. After that, we're going to install the battery cover. Once we get all that on, we're going to put the rack on, put the bolts in and tighten that down, and we're done with installation. For more information about the Tusk winches, visit our website www.rockymountainatvmc.com. And thanks for watching.